Hey guys, I know we've been doing a lot of anime things lately, but now it's time to go back to our regularly scheduled programming, aka talking about really minuscule parts of video games and hoping someone watches it. And this time we're going to be talking about sound test rooms in video games. Since sound test rooms are kind of an antiquated feature in video games, I should give you a quick lesson on what they are and what their purpose used to be. So, a sound test room is this magical place in a video game where you, the orally curious gamer, can listen to the sweet music and sound effects found in the game. It was originally designed as a way for the game's creators to ensure that the sounds were functioning properly, but it was later kept in games as an accessible location or menu as a sort of fun Easter egg. Of course, a lot of people, when faced with an Easter egg, just go, cool, and forget about it forever. Anyway, there are a few forms in which a sound test room can take shape, and of course I'm going to talk about the big ones. I mean, what else will I talk about? First up, we have the options menu. This kind of sound test room is very easily accessible from the option menu of a game, often right from the first time you boot it up. In some cases though, important tracks or audio clips will have their names hidden, as a certain song name or sound could be a form of spoiler for events that occur later in the game. And if you really wanted to spoil yourself, you can just hit a Wikipedia, YouTube, or something like that. An example of this is in Mother 3, which allows you to listen to every song right away, even before playing the actual game, but it will keep song titles hidden until the actual song is encountered in-game, just in case a certain title will be a little too revealing to the very story-centric experience. In addition to this, games from the Toho series have all of the music available for listening as well, sometimes with additional commentary by their composer Zun about the purpose behind each track's creation and composition. WarioWare Smooth Moves even has a mode where you can use the remote like a conductor's baton, allowing you to change the tempo of the songs to better emulate the feeling of hyperspeed rushing that the game belts you into. These types of sound test rooms are here to give you something extra to do when you have the game on and don't want to actually play the game yet. Also, if you're playing through the game and stumble upon a song that gets you jamming, you can easily head over to the options menu and find that grooving tune. Next up, we have the record store. This type is a sound test room that makes you work for your music because songs have to be collected, bought, or are otherwise unlocked by completing challenges. In Wario Land 4's sound test room, it takes the form of a bizarre area within the ancient temple, complete with a home theater system. The TV screens display wacky and disturbing imagery that serve as music videos because who doesn't like that weird shit? On one playthrough, levels can only be beaten once, making it a challenge to collect every CD for your listening pleasure. But you may not enjoy what you hear because the tracks are just as odd as the visuals. They don't even appear anywhere else in the game because if you gotta find it, what's the point of putting it somewhere else? Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Smash 4 both have a record store type of sound room with some songs unlocked initially and others needing to be unlocked by picking up the precious CD items while playing the game. It's common courtesy to stop fighting in order to grab these treasures because they disappear after a shorter time period than other items and because they can actually be used to create playlists on certain stages. But, that's unless you have that one friend that really wants to win, and in that case, they'll just have to square up in real life. It's worth noting that the Smash Bros. Game sound rooms are extremely detailed, containing every sound effect and voice clip as well. You can go make that mashup meme song compilation out of Cries of Pain now, it's real easy, I promise. But sometimes the record store is reserved for VIP access only, as a reward for the most dedicated players, or maybe a tier on Kickstarter. The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap requires all figurines to be acquired before you unlock the sound room, and Smash Bros. Melee sound room is unlocked once you get all the stages. Many games, especially from the Donkey Kong series, require a secret cheat code in order to access it. The biggest point of these is to be a form of achievement marker, where instead of getting that trophy, you get collectibles. The more you collect, the more you accomplish, and plus it's a more tangible reward in a sense. You get actual music. Whew, this one's a short video. Alright, last one, I promise. What we have now is the diegetic type. These are sound test rooms that somehow work their way into the canon world of the game, blurring the line between soundtrack and reality for the video game characters and the video game player. One annoying example of this is the internet from Super Paper Mario, who will play a randomly selected song from the game soundtrack upon paying him some coins. Pretty inconvenient, but cool that it exists nonetheless. Sometimes the randomizer is good for hearing stuff you normally wouldn't seek out. A more recent and more indie example is the Bard in Shovel Knight, who will play some sheet music for you if you brought it to him. The Massive Castle in Rogue Legacy also might contain a medieval jukebox that can play any track. In Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorer of the Skies, you can obtain an item known as the Sky Jukebox, which can play any piece of music that has been encountered while playing the story mode, letting you be a DJ for your little Pokemon Explorer team. It even continues to play while your DS is closed, allowing you to use it like a Walkman or an iPod, though you might as well say goodbye to that charge of yours. Features like this are how you can tell a game is proud of its music, because they put it directly in the game and not in another menu or something like that. And if they're proud of their music, I'm glad to be listening to it. So, what does the future have in store for sound test rooms? I find the sound test rooms of smaller or older games to be especially rewarding, since there is likely no other way to listen to all those songs and audio in the game, apart from some ad-ridden YouTube rip. Big AAA titles will sometimes have physical CDs of their soundtracks if there's some sort of super ultra deluxe version of the game. I know anime games tend to do that a lot. Even some smaller indie games on Steam have their own separate music downloads specifically for the soundtrack. This removes a lot of the need for a sound test room in-game, though you will be paying for it. Thankfully, some developers still carry on this tradition, and I say thankfully because the music and sound of the games are so important to the experience that it would be a crime to deny them their own spotlight. Because sometimes I want to hear that sweet mid-boss battle song without having to create a separate save file that was made right before its unrepeatable encounter. Or because I want to experience an environmental suite without worrying about being accosted by bandits, burglars, and bears. I hope that video games continue to have awesome soundtracks that could be revered just as highly as any other kind of music, and not be reduced to just beeps and boops in the backgrounds. Sound test rooms are a great way of trying to keep it in the limelight, since it creates a place to listen to it other than in the background of a game. So, what are your favorite sound test rooms? Leave a comment below, and if you like the video, like it and subscribe if you want to see more of our content. But if you don't, what am I going to do? Make better videos?